What up, it's your boy GL from the Budtender Society, and we're here at the last meeting for the OMMP rules. You know, obviously the message is pretty common, just leave it alone. That's what was told that was going to happen, so that's what we all want. We're going to go inside the Medford Library and see what everybody's got to say.
If you're a patient and you've signed up, just briefly let them know that this is going to negatively affect you. You're not going to be able to have safe access to your medicine. They're trying to dismantle the program that we have worked for 16 years. And that's not okay, and that's the message we need to get across. These people are staffers that are here today. They really don't care what we have to say. But the message that all of you have shown up here today, that the media is seeing this, is the biggest thing that we could have done today. So thank you very much for showing up.
People want to scrap the whole thing just for reference. Anybody think this is going to be good for us?
This is a really important process in the administrative rules process and the democratic process, so your input today is very important, and I thank you guys for coming out. Okay, the rules that we are accepting public comment about today are related to OHA's regulatory and inspection authority for medical marijuana growers, processors, and dispensaries. Edits to the rules around medical marijuana card holders and rules around sales of limited marijuana products to the public in medical marijuana dispensaries. Please limit your comments to these subject matters today. Please limit to constructive criticism of these subject matters. General grievances about the state of OHA aren't going to be helpful to fixing these rules. As you may know, the Public Health Division of OHA has also issued temporary rules around labeling, serving size, and laboratory testing. Those rules are currently being considered by a rules advisory committee, and that meeting was Monday of this week. Once that advisory process is complete, then it will go into a public comment period. So there will be another public comment period. We'll try to do a better job of getting that information out to the public about those rules around concentration size, labeling, and testing.
We need time to organize. We can't even organize a microphone and amplifier to face the public. Most of us that have been doing this all these years have security. We don't have money to pay for high security cameras and expensive 8-foot fences. I think as long as you don't have a public view, you don't need a large, expensive fence.
It's important to remember that cannabis is not a dangerous drug. So despite the propaganda, despite your obligations to the federal government, a little perspective in remembering that cannabis is not a dangerous drug. It looks like you're trying to make medical marijuana growing a business before it's actually been sanctioned to be a business. So the OMMP has one of the most successful programs in the country. It's been rooted in the patient-grower relationship, and that's what you see all these people here feeling threatened about. These new rules are obviously influenced by Measure 91 and the OLCC, and that is actually antithetical to both the letter and the spirit of Measure 91. It's very specific in saying leave the OHA alone, leave the OMMP alone. And so let's get the recreational thing up and running before we go and seeing how that is going to affect the OMMP, because honestly, we're doing the limited retail sales, we're not seeing any effect, really, on what's happening here is you're beginning to threaten the patient-grower relationship, and that's obviously got people on arms. I know you haven't had this sort of turnout up north. Cannabis is very rooted in our culture down here. We have a lot of blue-collar workers, we have a lot of vets, we have a lot of retirees, we have a lot of people, more than I even expected as a dispensary owner, that are using medical marijuana for legitimate reasons, and those people, you're threatening their ability to.
My name is Brent Kenny, and I'm the Director of Southern Oregon Alternative Medicine. I currently sit on the OLCC Rules Advisory Committee and have worked close with the Measure 91 Committee implementing some of this stuff. My message is going to be short because you have a lot of people to hear from today. I think you've heard from me personally, and I want to continue to say that the March 1 deadline is unworkable. Working with patients for 16 years, I can tell you how fast things move, and March 1 is not going to do it. I think OHA can recognize the ability of having a difficult time renewing 7,000 patient cards in a 30-day, which was allowed by statute. You have 30 days to renew these cards, and that is, as you're saying now, up to date. It hasn't been up to date. It's been 3 months behind. So I'm curious how OHA is going to have the opportunity to grandfather in 25,000 grow sites by March 1. It's not going to happen. And I think what needs to happen is, speaking with the Measure 91 Committee, they need to hear from OHA that you need more time. We need more time, and you need more time. So if you push back to the Measure 91 Committee, they're going to respect from OHA hearing that, you know what, you saw the frustration when we were giving testimony a week or two ago with Senator Ferrioli and some of the others involved on the 91 Committee. They want to hear from you. I talk to them constantly. They need to hear from OHA that you need more time. The patients need more time. Most of the patients haven't even heard about having to grandfather their cards in. So the fact that there's been a real lack of getting that message out to the community, and these are people, this isn't a oversight committee for some kind of funding for lottery. These are thousands of sick Oregonians that absolutely need more time. And it's a no-brainer. So, more time.
I have patients that need it and that can't afford to just go to the store and buy every single day that they need it.
And I'd like to say that they need more time. I'm a patient that needs more time. And on the budget that I live on, there's no way I could go and afford to buy something at a dispensary like that. When this stuff grows out of the ground as medication, and you know, they need the time. Leave them alone.
My name is David Brainerd. I've been a network and systems administrator for over 20 years. I'm also a medical marijuana grower. The March 1st deadline is unrealistically immediate. I asked that the deadline be extended until 2017. It will be expensive and extremely difficult to comply with these changes in the next 34 days. I'm specifically concerned about the tracking and monitoring requirements. I implore OHA to consider not locking us into a single or small cadre of technology vendors for the tracking. For instance, OLCC requires participants in the REC program to use tracking and monitoring technology they must purchase from MetRC, I believe, a Florida vendor. Washington and Colorado require recreational growers in said states to purchase from BioTrack THC, another Florida vendor. Growers should be able to employ open source free technologies for their own monitoring.
Yes.
Yes. Free, as in the Spanish word gratis, and libre. In other languages, free has multiple meanings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think personally the biggest point that the legislature and OHA and OMMP is missing is Measure 91. What it specifically said in 3 different instances was that you were not allowed to change the medical program. Now, I don't know how much more English needs to be put out there, but you're not allowed to do that. The people voted. 850,000 plus of us voted, and that's what we voted on, is so that you would not touch it. If you insist on touching it, you're going to have an uprising that you're not going to like from the patients, because it's going to hurt us dramatically. I am a patient, I am a grower. If this rule goes into play, I will tell you right now that half of the patients that I have, I'm going to have to get rid of. One of those patients is in a nursing home. I want you to stop and think of, if it was your family member, how would you react to this? That's a critical point that everybody is forgetting about in the legislature and the OHA and the OMMP. What if it was your family member that I had to get rid of, and they couldn't get another grower. And that's going to be the problem. 48 plants, and with the amount of growers that we have, it's not going to work. Thank you.
None of my neighbors who farm any other products have to jump through these hoops. The brewery down the road from me and the wineries don't have to jump through any of these hoops. To force us to have cameras and to have high fences and to have safes and such things is discriminatory, and I advise that you not pass these proposed